I'm Michael Sachs. I'm a retired attorney. And I've got a question that's primarily directed to Bill Brown, which has to do really with empirical data and its development, which has to do with what's really going on in our financial services firms, the investment banks, the hedge funds, the private equity funds, in terms of having both their own economists, their own mathematicians, developing their algorithms, studying the actual performance of the markets, and whether or not, to some extent, both the thought that's going on there, the data that they put to use as a matter of applied economics, and presumably the continuing data that they gather over time is sort of an untapped source of information regarding macroeconomic behavior, which might in the end have some microeconomic connection as well.
Well, certainly there's a huge amount of effort that goes on in these financial firms. As was mentioned, there's a lot of resources, and there's returns from doing this work. A lot of it is not. Economists probably have a smaller and smaller portion of this work as opposed to other people with other quantitative backgrounds that aren't necessarily economics or either finance, but the definitions, the dividing lines aren't very clear. Anyway, there's certainly a lot going on. Data has been, for a long time, going back 20 or 25 years, financial firms recognize the value of data sets. Having information on pricing, having information on a whole range of things, defaults, is useful things and you could make money on, and that if you have it, you have an advantage over the other people. So effort has been put into collecting data on different aspects of things. The question of whether it's useful to, at a truly macro level, I would be hard pressed to find good examples of that. I certainly know where it's been tried. When scanning things came in stores, the question is, okay, you're at Walmart, you get all this scanning data. This is hugely good stuff. Economists can do things, we can explain a lot of the macro. I wouldn't say that's an area that's produced a whole lot. Probably produced less than people thought. There's a whole set. I think most of the work is pretty just straightforward. You can make money by predicting how many home loans will be repaid in each zip code in the United States. That's not a very interesting question but from a money point of view, that's our biggest financial market is mortgages, and prepayment rates make a huge difference to their value, and there is a lot of guys out there trying to predict prepayment rates for each mortgage. So there's a lot of that.
Notoriously irrational market, as it is.
And it's very
ill-predicted.
Very difficult.
But in developing that kind of data, are they looking back in time to look at prior experience and therefore private behavior within the various zip codes? So in the core, isn't there really some information regarding the behavior of individuals?
Yes.
In the mass?
Yeah.
Right.
Sure, certainly. And I'm sure access to that data is of interest to academics and people with other interests than the firm, and I'm sure that happens at some level.
Thanks.
Yeah.